This is Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski. Here now, Tony Brueski.
There is a lot of sightings that have been made about Amy Bradley. A lot of them. Some of them believable, some of them bizarre, all very deeply unsettling. A barefoot woman on a beach in Curaçao, a brothel confession in the dead of the night, eyewitnesses who swear they saw Amy in the company of men who didn't want her talking. And then the haunting photos from the sex site. Let's break down like some of these sightings of Amy, and what ones stood out to you the most? Like what has stood out as being the one that if you were to say, and maybe you think all of them are credible or just a few, what's like the one you're going that's got to be her?
The thing I found interesting about all of the sightings was there was a through line, and it was that she seemed to not be able to talk. She seemed to be upset. You know, it wasn't like they just ran into an American on an island and she was on vacation. It didn't feel like that. Each one of the sightings felt desperate to me.
Yeah.
So that to me says something when you look at each of them. But I think it was the Navy, the ex-Navy guy seemed very credible. The woman in the bathroom, the fact that the lady has nothing to gain by making up, and she said her name was Amy. She has nothing to gain by that. And to be in the bathroom, and because, you know, I've been in a public bathroom before where a woman's crying and I'm like, are you okay? You know, can I help you in any way? And, you know, that's what happened to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that felt very credible to me.
The the brothel sighting, I agree with that one. And I don't think Bill Hefner has anything to gain by sharing this story aloud.
No.
But he did, and he's just, this is my life. This is what I did. And, you know, not proud of it, but this is what I did. And this is why I did it. And
yeah. And for Amy, she would be a commodity. And so if they could get her off the ship and take her basically underground, for lack of a better word, hard to find, impossible to find, you know, I could see there's a lot of money to be made with sex trafficking. As much as I hate to say that, like it happens every day. Yeah.
It does. And that's the scary reality of that.
And, you know, there are people missing that go missing every day. Mysteriously, and they're not found. They could have figured out how to get her off the ship.
Let's go through some more of the sightings that happened here. We already kind of went through some of the initial ones, the brothel, the beach sighting in the immediate aftermath of this. There were hoax sightings as well that people were, and that's the scary part with anything right now. There's going to be someone that wants to get out there and make a joke out of this, and make, or not even a joke out of it, but just screw with the public for the sake of screwing with the public. Now, believe me, I love that sport. It to me is very fun, but there's times and places, and in a murder investigation, it's not one of them. You can make jokes. There's funny ways of doing things. Mixing this into that with making up stories of finding this person is insane. I just saw it here recently during the Devil's Den homicide case that we've been covering. People were pointing out to me someone online that created a persona that looked pretty much just like the sketch that was out. but it came out after the sketch was released. And then they put out weird comments about there being more to come and things of that nature. And it was pretty disturbing looking, but you just knew it was, I mean, I knew it was a copycat. I felt it was a copycat right away, the way it all looked. It was just too in line. But that's a sick thing. There's going to be those sort of things out there, and then you have to decipher through that sort of
And
madness.
you know, there's probably been thousands.
Oh, completely.
Of tips.
But here's some of the more
Some felt very credible.
And we'll go through some of these fake ones too. In 2000, Frank Jones, as a con man, he was posing as a Navy SEAL, claimed to have Amy in Colombia, in Curaçao, stated his team had photographs and audios of Amy being held captive by traffickers, described her tattoos, and even said she sang her childhood lullaby, You Are My Sunshine. Credibility, zero. He fabricated everything and was later convicted of fraud. The FBI arrested him. He served 5 years in federal prison for that. So, good.
That makes me happy.
There was a San Francisco pier sighting. 2 women saw a distressed woman resembling Amy with 2 men who were physically controlling her. When the woman made eye contact, the men quickly led her away. Credibility, and that's medium. The sketches made, and they were released, but there hasn't been any, way to conclusively say that was her. Department store restroom in Barbados. There, a woman told her quietly, my name is Amy. I'm from Virginia. Then 4 men came in, called for her, and she left with them.
Which was Amy, where Amy was from.
Yeah, and the probability on that one is high. The person who was a vacationing American had no prior connections to the case, didn't even know about the story when she came forward.
And I think she's the one who saw it on Dr. Phil, saw the parents on Dr. Phil. One of them saw the parents on Dr. Phil and saw the picture and went, oh my God, that's who I saw.
Yeah.
I don't know, with time, your memory kind of changes and fades a little bit.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's...
she's incredible.
What was the Dr. Phil?
The parents went on.
Yeah.
And I would have done the same thing. I mean, you want to get the word out to as many people as you possibly can. And that's what prompted this woman to share her story of her being on vacation and seeing her in the bathroom. They
went on with the Jas story. Jas was the S worker's name that she went by, Jasmine. And that's the one that was that's the photo that they matched up. But that was first revealed on Dr. Phil. So I think that was the big thing there. That was the first time her mom saw those photos. Was also on Dr. Phil.
Oh my God!
So
oh my God!
I don't like that. That feels like a really icky producer moment. Unless you, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully she knew what was coming, that she knew we're going to be showing you some photos here, I don't know. That's me digging into the rough and, of how would you handle that? But it seems a little ick to me on that.
Agreed.
So there's been a lot. There's been a lot of sightings of this woman. When you look back on it, how is, because I don't think we know the answers to these questions. Is Royal Caribbean responsible for any of this? I mean, if it was their employee that had something to do with it, sure.
But there's no way
But
to
how do we know?
prove that. And I know that the parents did file a lawsuit against Royal Caribbean that was dismissed, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there was enough evidence to hold them accountable for anything. I think they took it seriously by what you said earlier about chartering a boat.
Yeah.
The Coast Guard or equivalent of was there looking for her. She didn't leave the ship. I'm sure there's video of people, if there was video in the club of her dancing, there has to be video of people leaving the ship.
You would think.
Employees.
You would think, but it's 1998.
Yeah.
So 1998. And they're not, the ships aren't ruled by like any sort of American law either.
Oh, that is a difficult thing because you think they're out in the middle of an ocean. Yeah. American laws don't apply.
So the whole, even if there was like a cruise ships must have this, they wouldn't have to follow it because it's not their jurisdiction. That would be something where the company would, I would hope today probably is true, have it to cover their own ass of like everything's monitored. I would think today you're going to have, at least that would be my hope. There's so many times though where you make these assumptions of, oh, this is probably how that works. And then you find out, oh, it's not doing any of those things that would have made total obvious sense for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but you would think, but I don't know about 98. It was again, total different place, total different time.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Brueski and the Hidden Killers podcast.